Witness a lifelong friendship rapidly erode in comedic, dramatic, and even horrifying ways in The Banshees of Inisherin, written, directed, and produced by Martin McDonagh, who's done films such as In Bruges, Seven Psychopaths, and Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. That last one's a mouthful of a title, isn't it? The one thing about Martin McDonagh, from his debut with In Bruges, that was a film that received a ton of critical praise. Colin Farrell received a ton of praise. Colin Farrell can be in films like The Batman. He can be in big budget stuff. He was the best part of the 2003 Daredevil movie. And he can be in small stuff like In Bruges and films like The Banshees of Inisherin. And you just see how naturally talented, how much of a rich, actor he is. He just is so, he can provide so much depth to simple characters, and then he can play a character that seems simple, like in The Banshees of Inisherin, and then you just peel back the layers and you see this guy, he's just so gifted. He really is one of the best actors of the last 20 or so years. He really is that good. And again, he also made the 2003 Daredevil movie somewhat watchable, but nevertheless, Colin Farrell plays Pardic, and I'm not going to try to pronounce too many of the character names in this movie because it's set in 1923 Ireland, on the small island of Inisherin, a very close-knit Catholic Irish community. And besides Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson, there aren't a ton of well-known actors or people you will recognize, but there are some that are bubbling up, some great character actors, some that have been in a lot of British and Irish productions. There is Kerry Condon, who plays Colin Farrell's sister, and I just gotta say, she was great in this. She actually really does deserve quite a bit of praise, and I hope she gets praise from the various people that see this, critics and audiences alike, because she had to have the right balance of making sure that she did stuff for herself, that she stretched out her own character and developed her own character, and also had to be almost a keeper of Colin Farrell's character, who has his issues, is a generally nice guy, but there is a certain thing that happens in this movie that may change that. Basically, the plot, such as it is, and it's simple on the surface, and then it peels back some layers and actually gets really, really good, is two lifelong friends, Brendan Gleeson and Colin Farrell's characters. There's a bit of an age difference, even though Colin Farrell, he's younger than he actually is, or he looks younger than he actually is really how I should say it. And Brendan Gleeson has been great in just a bunch of he's a tremendous actor as well. They're friends, and then one day, Brendan Gleeson's character, Colm, just says, "No, I don't want to. I don't want to associate with you anymore." There are reasons that get developed a little bit later on. But he's just had it. He's had it for whatever reason, even though they're lifelong friends, they're in this close-knit community. And there's these explosions and other weird shit going on the mainland, or, and on other islands and everything, because, in the 1916 and 1920s and that kind of stuff, all that stuff going on in Ireland. I mean, just read up on history. Basically, Brendan Gleeson decides that he just wants to be left alone. It's not that he hates Pardic, it's not that he hates him. He just wants to be left alone. Colin Farrell's like, no, bullshit. Like, why would you do this? Why would you do this? What have I done? You haven't done anything wrong. And I go, okay, this kind of stuff. And then we find out more through the dialogue and more stuff. And then ultimatum is given. This was in the trailer that if you don't leave me alone, Pardic, I'm going to do bad things to myself to prove to you that I don't want to talk to you. And then from there, we see if those things will or won't happen. It's really hard to try and talk about this without spoilers. One thing two things I really want to talk about, because I'll get into spoilers here in a bit. The plot, such as it is just, it's very linear. It doesn't really take a whole lot of path. It's just kind of on a straight path. But there's enough deviation with the characters to where it's not dull. It's a journey. You're watching these two people that were friends rapidly eroding, how a lifelong friendship eroding for whatever reason can really affect somebody. Now, I can identify because everybody's had friendships that have ended. There was one particular one that I thought was a friend till the end, shall we say, met back in high school, and let's just say about just over a decade ago, things didn't end all that well. That's all I'm going to say, but I'll just say that I got better friends now. And that's really just about it. I wish nothing but the absolute worst for that particular person because of how how things ended and how everything happened. But nevertheless, everybody handles that kind of shit differently. Pardick is not handling it all that well. He lives with his sister. They have a farm. He has a little donkey. That'll do. Don't get that'll do. They have cows. They have horses. They have all this stuff. And the sister doesn't want the donkey in the house. Doesn't want the animals in the house. And because it's a small, close-knit community, there's a church, there's a pub, and there's a few houses. Really, all you ever see is Brendan Gleeson's house. You see the church, you see the pub, and then you will see Colin Farrell and his sister's house. I gotta say, Carrie Condon also very beautiful, very beautiful. Good lord, absolutely looks great. Need to see more of what she's been in. Like, if I have to dive into stuff, if I have to go to BBC America, whatever, I'm interested because she was very good in this. And I think I've seen her in a couple things, but I can't recall right now. Two other things I want to praise: the locations. Even though at times dreary, very beautiful, very lush, and also dreary because on the coast of Ireland, small little island, as opposed to an island that wouldn't have a coast. And also the music. The music is rich and great and just really, really, really. Oh, that music set the goddamn atmosphere. The fiddle music, the Celtic music almost, just the singing. Everything was really. It's not a musical, but I'm just saying that the music that they use there is just really, really good. And this is a goddamn great movie. I see absolutely why people praise this to the goddamn heavens. It's not going to make a goddamn dent at the box office unless you're in an artsy type neighborhood that happens, or artsy type area or state that happens to have a theater showing this. I hope it does well. I can't imagine it cost all that much, and I hope it gains some awards from a technical standpoint, and maybe Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson get Oscar nominations. But honestly, I think Carrie Condon really should get consideration for like at least a Golden Globe for Best Supporting Actress. Even though she is a main character in this, they would probably slaughter for a supporting actress. But everybody was really, really good in this. Everybody played their parts perfectly, and everything made sense as far as how the characters interacted. And even though sometimes the accents are hard to understand, I mean, I've watched enough UK stuff to pick up on some things, but I don't live there, so some of those accents are really, really thick. And you got to pay special close attention. If you have any hearing issues, you probably shouldn't watch this in theaters unless you can have a special hearing device. But nevertheless, great movie, well acted, comedy really worked, and when it got horrifying, it got horrifying. It's not a horror movie, it just got horrifying with some of the stuff, and it also showed this, with a friendship, what can actually happen, how things can get out of hand, literally in some cases, and how it's never easy to lose a friend. It's never easy to lose a friend at all. I'm going to get into spoilers, though, but I absolutely encourage you guys to check this out in theaters if you get a chance. It will probably be on streaming soon, but check this out because it's going to be up for some Golden Globes and Oscars 100%. So there you go. Colin Farrell, everybody's really, really good in this, and it's rich and atmospheric and well performed. The music's great. But anyway, 3, 2, 1, and spoilers. So Brendan Gleeson basically gives the ultimatum, or this is after Colin Farrell's character kept trying to talk to him. He finally said, "You just need to leave me alone. You need to leave me alone. I find you boring," basically, is the whole deal. "I want to make my music, and I can't just kill what remaining years I have, dicking around and stuff like that, and you distracting me from making my music. I want to make my music, damn it, because people are going to remember music that's made. They're not going to remember people that were just a nice guy." There's also a guy that is, you may recognize him as the at the end of the Batman. Sorry, that is a bit of a spoiler there, but the movie's been out a while. The guy that's going to play the Joker. Yeah, him. Yeah. Guy's going to play the Joker and he's also been in Dunkirk and stuff like that, and he's a really good actor as well. And then what ends up happening is Brendan Gleeson's character gives him an ultimatum. From this moment on, each time you bother me, I'm going to cut off one of my fingers, and I'm going to give you that. And I'm going to prove to you that I don't want to talk to you anymore, and this is how serious I am. And for a bit, no talking, no talking, no talking. There's this police officer that has a son that's a bit of a drunk that it also turns out that he's abusive too, not just physically like that, but yeah, otherwise. In other ways, there's also this old lady that's almost like it's almost like she was around when Ireland was first founded. That's how old she is. She's almost like a cleric or whatever. She kind of is just there to move along the story and help. And she's this old wise woman. She talks to the people, and she's just there. It's a bit weird. And the priest actually provides some good stuff in confession. There's this one funny line where, Father, if punching a policeman is a sin, then we might as well all pack up and go home. And also, I don't want the donkey to be outside when I'm sad. I don't know why that line was so funny to me, but it just was. But basically, Brendan Gleeson's character goes through with it. That's what he's trying to prove, that he doesn't want to talk to him. But then there's this point where this policeman character, this abusive one, knocks down Colin Farrell. Well, Brendan Gleeson picks him up, puts him on his wagon after he went and delivered milk on the coast to get some money because they have farm animals and stuff like that. He takes him back, helping him, but not really saying anything because he may not want to be his friend, but he's still a human being at the end of the day. And then as things go on, this cop says he's going to get at Pardick. The sister ends up taking off for the mainland to take a job. I don't remember exactly what it was. Pardick is heartbroken. And then, because he keeps confronting Brendan Gleeson's character. Eventually, he cut off all the fingers on this hand, including his thumb. Threw them all there. And then a little bit later, what happens is the donkey is found dead, a little donkey. Because they ate one of the fingers and it choked. Because he had fat fingers. And Pardick's heartbroken, buries a donkey, and basically runs into the pub and says, just so you know, I'm going to burn your house down tomorrow at 2 p.m. Don't be there. Keep your dog outside. I don't want to hurt your dog, but I'm going to do this because you killed my donkey inadvertently. Then the police officer tries to get at Pardick, and Brendan Gleeson punches the police officer out with his one good hand. And then, yeah, Colin Farrell goes through with it. He's distraught about his sister being gone. He takes a bunch of kindling, a bunch of kerosene that he got from somewhere, I don't know, and burns the house down. And Brendan Gleeson's character is inside. He said he was going to do it. It was an eye for an eye. And he takes a dog with him. Then sometime later, he goes to the beach, and Brendan Gleeson's outside. He got out of the house. He's got no finger. You got no fingers, Lieutenant Dan. And then his dog stays there with him. And he says, well, I suppose my house and the donkey makes us even. If you were in it, it would, but no. And then he thanks him for watching his dog. He's like, anytime. Even though all this stuff's happened, the house has been burned down, all these fingers, all this argument, all this stuff, all this great dialogue, all this great acting, all this emotional stuff, there's still a common bond. That doesn't go away. And there you go. That's the Banshees of Inisherin, which, by the way, was the name of the song that he did on the fiddle. Probably should have said that. This is great, though. This is great. This gets an A+. This is really, really good shit. I could see some people finding it dull. I loved it. I thought it was great. I will probably watch it again when it comes out on streaming. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Recklin. I'll see you soon.